Welcome back. This is By the Book, and we're your married relationship coaches. I'm Sent.
I'm Sil.
And today we're talking about Love is Blind, Season 3. We're talking about SK and Raven.
Again?
I mean, it's taken on a life of its own. I'm sure you guys who follow, to some extent, SK and Raven or any kind of Love is Blind news, you already know, yes, SK's been cheating. We called him trash weeks and weeks ago.
Yes.
We called out the cheating with the first young lady, M. And had a video about that, which we know was questionable. A lot of people were kind of backing him up and saying that, this woman could be lying.
Yeah.
And all of these things, though she presented her receipts, and she could have been lying, but again, we're covering the stories as they come to us.
Yes.
Now, of course, there's been a second accusation from the young lady named Hannah, and she's done an interview, and it's just a mess. Okay? It's a mess. It's very obvious at this point that SK probably, during the time of the filming, before, during, and after, he's just like that guy that just plays around with people.
Yeah.
I don't know what appeal he has necessarily, aside from maybe if he throws his money around. I'm not sure. On the show, that's not really what he did.
Yeah.
But there's something that's drawing these women into these situationships with him, if you will, and he's capitalizing on it. So the question, though, I guess, is, well, first of all, let's talk a little bit about this Hannah story.
Okay.
Right.
It's kind of lengthy. Where you want to start?
I just want to highlight a couple of points and talk about a little bit of things that I've heard on social media about Hannah herself. So if you guys haven't already seen this interview, we will link in the description some of the, at least a big chunk of the interview, so you can kind of get the gist of what was going on as well. But Hannah was apparently, she has called herself SK's ex. I don't know exactly when their relationship took place. I know that in 2021, around late spring, early summer, it seems that they took a trip, or he took her on a trip, I suppose. And if we're getting our timeline straight, that was right after, or shortly after, no more than a month, I guess, after the filming of the weddings from Love is Blind Season 3.
Yeah.
So he had some communication with her previous about the possibility of being on Love is Blind. She kind of goes back, and you guys can watch the interview in its entirety, and talks about how he asked her about should he be on the show and things of this nature. So she's kind of setting the stage to show this is a long-term either friendship or relationship, or, like I said, a situationship that she had with him, enough so that they would talk about these types of things, possibly. What it seems like, as the story goes on, is that he's a breadcrumber and he's just been stringing her along. Yeah. He has the money to do so he can take her on a trip. If he took her on a trip. Maybe she paid for herself. I don't really know, but he probably could sponsor that trip. And during that time that she went on the trip, I suppose there was some friction because apparently she figured out who Raven was, and she started liking her photos. On Instagram, at which time Raven texts or messages SK while he and Hannah are on this trip to say, who is this woman? Harpo, who that woman? So Hannah apparently looks over just by chance. I guess this is what she says. I think she was personally going through his phone.
Yeah, she said she was at one point.
Yes, you can't just look over somebody's shoulder and see this whole situation going on. Yeah. So Raven asks SK who this woman is, and I don't know what he responded to her, but he then got mad.
Well, he said, let me handle it or something to that effect. And I tell you I was going to handle it. That was his response.
Okay, I thought that he was telling Hannah that he
Uh-huh.
would handle the Raven situation.
Oh, okay.
That's the way that I took it
I
in
coulda
the
missed
story.
it.
You
Okay.
guys let us know what you think.
Mhm.
But so he tells Hannah, I'm handling this situation and you look crazy by doing this.
Yeah.
So the next day, me being the nosy girl that I am, like all of us would be, I go to find her Instagram, right? Of course. And I'm like, okay, well, if this is fake, she'll have no issues knowing who I am anyway. So I start liking some pictures. And I'm like, she's a Dallas girl, I'm a Dallas girl, like, hey girl, hey, right?
Hey girl, hey friend.
So then we're waiting on an Uber, and I glance over to my right, and then I see a notification on his phone from her on Instagram saying, who is this, with my profile. And I was like, and he turns to me and he goes, I told you I was gonna handle it, like, you look crazy doing this. I was like, what's the big deal if she's gonna find out about me? But I was like, that's a little weird, but I was like, okay, I'm trusting him. I'm gonna let him handle it how he wants to. This is a weird situation, but like, okay, whatever.
Right.
Okay.
So that is a slap, y'all, right in the face. Like if you thought you were pursuing a relationship or in a relationship with somebody who, by her own admission, they were saying I love yous and stuff like that. But it's very, very important not to read too much into stuff when guys aren't saying it.
Yeah.
If guys want to be committed, they'll say that they want to be committed. Anything else where you're pressing for the relationship and they're like dodging and, you know, they're bobbing and weaving, they're not trying to be in a relationship. He's doing the best he can to keep her there for like that on-call booty situation. But no, he didn't have any intentions on being her man. And I think he more or less made that clear at the point in which he told her own account, that he wouldn't be with he wouldn't marry someone unless he knew he was going to be faithful.
The only thing that kind of like made a light bulb go off for me with this whole poly thing is that in Europe, like the last night, he said to me that he would not get married until he could be 100% faithful to one woman. So like if that says anything, I don't know, but yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, that just about tells you that he's not being faithful to whatever it is that you think y'all have.
Yes.
And I think he was being very honest about that. He wouldn't be faithful to Raven. He wouldn't be faithful to M. He's probably not going to be faithful, period.
Yeah.
He ain't got a faithful bone in his body. Just like your daddy. So, anyway, let's just call it that SK is trash. He's a womanizer. This is what it looks like. I mean, if y'all want to stop me right here and object to that and say that's not what he is, let us know. Go ahead and drop that in the comments. But I'm going to go with he is trash. And it doesn't matter to me that, oh, well, he didn't technically have a relationship with Hannah, even by her own account. I get it. You know, so that doesn't mean that you're not trash, because if you're leading people on, making them believe that you're interested in more than what this is, even if you see them, like if he sees Hannah asking him for clarity, which she made it clear that she did. She tried to get answers while she was on the trip. What did she tell the interviewer? She told her, I left with more questions than I started with, basically. So he's purposefully making this a bigger gray area, right, than what it has to be. It can be black and white. It can be yes or no. But SK is skilled, it seems, at stringing people along and getting what he wants, milking that situation for exactly what he wants.
All right.
Do you agree?
I definitely do. Oh, what a tangled web we weave when we practice that thing to deceive. And that's what he was doing. You saw it on the show. You saw this man come across as very kind and very nice and basically saying the right things at the right time. I'm going to love you the Raven way and all of this different type of stuff. And so he is basically kind of like a wolf in sheep's clothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can see Bartiz coming. You can kind of see Cole where he was about a little bit. But this SK, he takes it to a whole nother standard because, again, you don't see him coming.
He's the
quiet.
ultimate villain.
Yeah.
He is, and you're right. You're very right about the difference between he and Bartiz.
Mm-hmm.
Bartiz is that type of guy that is cocky.
Yeah.
He led with that. How attractive he thinks he is, how much attention he thinks he gets. He thinks he's the man.
Yeah.
I think SK thinks he's the man too, but he presents very unassuming.
Yeah.
So, he's not necessarily our picture of what attractive he is, right? I don't mean that as any kind of insult, but just by societal standards, he's pretty ordinary.
Yeah.
Nothing that stands out.
Well,
even Raven's friends,
yeah.
right? Exactly. She called it, or both of them called it, really, in saying, well, we thought that she would pick somebody who was tall and muscular, somebody who is striking in a similar way, like her counterpart. Yeah. Because Raven is a very striking and attractive young lady. So that's what Bartiz meant when he said, we make sense. We're the people that people would put together because we're both attractive.
Yeah.
He probably, if he wants to be a playboy, he should go ahead and take lessons from SK.
Yeah.
Because he's going to get more bang for his buck if he's not so obnoxious or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't want to encourage that because SK So, I guess the biggest deal here recently is since all of this stuff has come out, I think the biggest confirmation for all of us was Raven taking her photos with SK down from off of Instagram or TikTok or wherever they were present. And as of today, then SK did the same, correct?
Yes.
What do I think happened? Okay. Now let's get into this, y'all, and let me know what you think about this theory.
All right.
Because I'm starting to be of the opinion that SK and Raven are co-conspirators in this whole thing.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think that Love is Blind pays them very much.
Yeah.
But, it doesn't have to be the show paying them. Like, it looks like he told Hannah and maybe someone else, like, I'm just in this thing for the money. I don't think the money is directly from the show. I think the money is from, like, whatever they think they can gain from their fame and popularity beyond the show. Mm-hmm. So people are going to want to follow SK and Raven. And obviously, after you get a certain amount of followers, subscribers, whatever the case may be, you can start to monetize things. So you can start to see this influx of money from, whatever angle you're approaching this whole fame thing. And I think that's what he was doing, and it might be what she was doing. If you guys remember, we very briefly touched on the fact that right after the show, Raven was hitting TikTok like no other. Yeah. She was all over it. So, was she kind of springboarding her TikTok or Instagram career from her appearance on the show? Maybe. And I think he probably was too. And I just wonder if this whole thing, like their chemistry maybe looked fake to us because it was. And they had like kind of agreed silently, or at least off the cameras or whatever, to go into this thing and have this fake relationship, kind of have it a little drama filled. Yeah. And see where it takes them.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's an interesting theory. And I can see it. I can kind of see it. However, I don't fully agree with it just because I saw how devastated Raven was at the altar. And not unless she's a much better actress than what I give her credit for, to me it looked real. And then like how she was referring to him as her man, how she shut Bartiz down, the little kissing makeout session that they had in the pool, it looked real to me. And again, I get the theory, and it does make sense. Mm-hmm. However, I'm almost there with it, but I'm not quite. I'm still gonna say that it was SK that was playing Raven instead of both of them playing us.
Okay, well, why does he have the ability to be a better actor than she is an actress? Because he would have been acting too, right? Like it by that theory, all of this was fake. Yeah. For him. Yeah. So he would have been a great actor as well. I don't see why she couldn't have been acting. maybe that's the career that she's pursuing ultimately.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah.
It just seems, and you guys let us know what you think about this. Something was a little off in that chemistry from the beginning, and I don't know if it's just because I felt like she wasn't going to be attracted to him when she saw him. She never did say anything really about his physical attractiveness to her. Could be that didn't matter that much to her, or it could be that she was snowing us all, and that's what it is. Like, I'm starting to doubt if they even had sex like they said they did. I kind of don't think so.
Yeah.
And I guess the question then would be, well, why is she taking the pictures down? You know, because she's behaving like someone who's been hurt, you know.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, if someone's been stepping out on you, or of a guy that's been stepping out on a girl, she finds out, especially publicly, she's not going to keep having his pictures up on her social media.
Right,
I'm surprised.
But I think she would take them down anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, just imagine this. You guys, we did join this like pact together to, you know, play up this relationship. We're going to make it very drama filled in, you know, the finale, etc. And then we're going to magically get back together and people are going to just fall in love with our story and follow us and blah, 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 whatever. But then this man has left a paper trail of all of his indiscretions.
Yeah.
You know, she honestly may not have cared that he was fooling with Emily and Hannah and Rebecca and Josephine. I mean, like, she probably couldn't care less about his harem of women that he has because they're both mutually benefiting from this image. However, when you make it public, when people are coming with these receipts, you know, then it's like, okay, even though we're playing this game, you know, even though we're in this together and acting it out, I don't want to be embarrassed and have to explain this to people because remember, we're pretending that we're together. Yeah. So now people are all in my messages. People are like talking about me just like we're doing on their videos and social media and all over the place. People are talking about, oh, poor Raven, blah, blah, blah. She don't want that image. Yeah. You know, I wouldn't want that image. I would be like, look, this contract is over. Like, this contract did not come with a clause of me looking like a fool. Yeah. Like you're making me look. So no, I'm not doing that anymore. Yeah. And that's why I think she deleted the photos.
It does make sense. But you said, okay, why do I give higher marks for acting to SK? Because SK fooled me for a hot second. That's why. I thought he was all in throughout the season. I thought he was enamored with Raven. I thought he was a 100% of a yes when they got to the altar. And we all know what happened. He got up there, stumbled for about half a second, and he was like, I do not. He fooled me. You know?
And maybe Raven fooled us all.
You know? Fool me once, shame on me. You know, but if you fool me, hey, you know how it is. I can't be fooled again. You know? And so, no, I think he's a much better actor. I think he's so used to giving out, and this is what a lot of men are good at, giving out subtle clues and giving out something that could have the air of being true or being reasonable.
He used partial truth.
Partial truth.
For sure.
And so going back to his culture, I believe in the Nigerian culture. I love the Nigerian culture. But I do think he can use the Nigerian culture as his kind of like his little way in, or it's like a little crutch to get people to believe what he's saying. Even though he had no intention. Had no intention on being with Emily, Raven, or Hannah. He was just in it to get what he wanted to get. And that's my gut feeling on the whole situation. So, is it possible Raven was in with it? Yes. But do I think she was? I'm still on the know with that.
She does really strike me as that real, just vulnerable, I'ma get played girl. I'm not saying that anybody is beyond it. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
But I just think she probably is smarter than that in this situation. I think I think a lot of people who get on these reality shows, to be fair with you, they recognize that it could springboard them into some sort of stardom or fame that they otherwise wouldn't have such an easy path to. And why not? You know, she's probably like, look, I'm a very attractive person, and I may not be in front of this many eyes at any other given time, you know, but I'm about to be on a national stage. I can use this.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'll put it like that.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what that says for the Love is Blind cast or producers or, you know, whatever for getting tricked in that way. I honestly feel like they should step up and say something. At least Nick and Vanessa should step up and be like, this is unacceptable.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't mean to have somebody on the show who was about this life.
Yeah.
I mean, SK is all out the definition of for the streets. He for the streets here and abroad. Like, I mean, just all over the place.
Yeah.
That's SK. Yeah. And Raven maybe too, but at least if she was dating people, it's discreet. You think, I think during this time that, like, prior to this and during this process and whatever break they might have had, she probably dated people. But we don't see men coming out with receipts against her. And that's probably the thing. If I was her, I would probably slap him because, like, you embarrassed me. We were supposed to be in a partnership here. And I'm not even talking about, like, if she was really, like, into him. I mean, if she was just complicit in this whole, hey, we're going to make some money off of this thing. But you embarrassed me in the process? Nah, you got to pay. Like, you owe me half of your earnings. Gotta explain this away to my family and friends, and got me looking like a fool.
Yeah, twice at the altar, and now with this. Yeah,
that's a lot. So we just want to know what you guys think about that. I mean, chime in both on the Hannah situation, if you think there's anything about that rings untrue to you guys. Do you think that Hannah played herself? Because that's another thing that we talked a lot about after watching some of these videos about her on social media. People are really, really on Hannah for being a fool. Yeah. But let me tell you, you can't judge that because a lot of us played a fool at some point in our lives. And she sounded very naive, if you guys are listening to it, in these interviews, or in this interview in particular. And my heart goes out to her.
Yeah. And she was dealing with a wolf.
Yeah. Now, if she... Right. Now, if she didn't learn from this and start protecting herself and making wiser decisions and being very purposeful in her dating from this point forward, then yeah, sure, I'll say shame on her. Yeah. But if SK was the first person she encountered like this, I do feel bad for her. I won't jump down her throat for not, holding his feet to the fire and being like, look, you got to tell me this. She wanted to believe what he was telling her. Yeah. He gave her partial truth, and she filled in the gaps with whatever it was that felt like it was good to her. Yeah. It's a sad place to be in. Yes. But, it's... a lot of women go through it. I'll just leave it at that. I know many women.
Isn't there something where we blame the deceived more than the deceiver? Isn't that something? That is wild. Yeah. Okay.
We do. I mean, but you know what? You hear a lot of. What's that? A man's gonna be a man. Yeah. I mean, and that's true. But sometimes you have to live through that to learn that lesson as a woman. And it does become incumbent upon us to protect ourselves and to be wise and to make wiser decisions. But many women go through that a time or two before they learn that hard lesson. So anyway, I digress, guys. Like I said, drop your comments below what you think about Hannah, what you think about my theory on SK and Raven. I think they just pulled the wool over our eyes together. They were co-conspirators in this thing, and you can't tell me otherwise. Well, you can. Drop it in the comments below, though. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.